They cannot keep ducking us. You gotta come see us.
Let's go, baby.
It's gonna be a show tonight. What?
Ain't never been part of that like this, man. West side, go side. Somebody make me out. Hey, take this go, turn around.
Y'all, it's game day. When the band is what you hearing, everybody here is cheering. All your worries disappearing, y'all, it's game day. Whether televised or streaming live in person while you're screaming, no more waiting, no more dreaming, y'all, it's game day. When the band is what you hearing, everybody here is cheering. All your worries disappearing, y'all, it's game day. Whether televised or streaming live in person while you're screaming, no more waiting, no more dreaming, y'all, it's game day.
Came out here, did it again. After doing it again, after doing it again. That's
y'all, it's game day.
Hey everybody, welcome to HBCU Gameday Saturday. I'm Tolly Carr, kicking off your weekend from Atlanta. It's my birthday, 47. Ooh, it's all good. I'm having a good time. I enjoy my age. Only got about 2 chins. I'm doing good. All right, let's get it in. First, we're going to talk about who's getting out before we get it in. Derek Horn, Alcorn State Athletic Director, is now the former AD for the Braves. Now, there's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of connect the dots. If you follow what has gone on closely there, starting back from the spring, maybe even before that, but the message is clear now. Horn is out. More info on that at hbcugameday.com. And a big job opening in the SWAC. Will be interesting to see what Alcorn State does. All right, let's get to today's schedule. It is Saturday. We have football. Bethune-Cookman at South Carolina State. There's a thing called North American University. They will be at Texas Southern. Alabama A&M at Grambling. More on that in a second. Central at homecoming for Valley. Alabama State at FAMU. That's a big one. Let's talk about Grambling and that Alabama A&M game. Grambling is giving the quarterback job to the young buck, Noah Bodden. Coach Fobb said I had to hold him out early. Let's get through some of those big boys, get him ready. Conference schedule ahead. Noah, it's your turn to shine.
We just feel he gives us the best option to win. We didn't feel he was ready week 1, and then I didn't want to put him in there in week 2 and week 3. Versus, the 2 teams that we were playing. I wanted to make sure that we worked him in slowly, but also build a plan around him that will allow him to be successful. And we're going to let him go. We're going to let him roll and support him as much as we possibly can and give him the tools he needs in order to have a chance to win the football game.
Now, Alabama A&M would be the betting favorite, I would imagine. I could look it up, but common sense says, yeah, they're defending champs. They're rolling pretty good. Money on them, right? But historically, Grambling has played Alabama A&M pretty tough. Akil Glass, 0-2, something Coach Maynard will remind him of.
Grambling is Grambling. They're going to play what they play. They're going to play man. They're going to put pressure on you, and you got to beat them. So he just got to make good decisions. Get us in the right play and out the right play, and go to our one-on-one coverage. We're gonna have somebody one-on-one, or a couple guys one-on-one. You got to go to those guys and make the throw. If you got them beat, got to put on the money. If they even, you got to throw them a back shoulder or a jump ball, and that's all we're looking for him to do. But you're correct; he hasn't played good against Grambling in the 2 games that we played him. So, I'll be in his ear. I'll be telling him all week, you ain't beat Grambling. You haven't beat Grambling yet.
Man, your coach trolling you. I love Coach Maynard. Hey, look, I never read the comments, right? But I read what you guys post. And this week, it's all been about, hey, FAMU, Bama State, that's a big game. But FAMU, y'all are kind of like too excited. It's Alabama State. Whatever, man. Look, it's going to be an exciting game. Community, bands, fans, all that's great. The football should be great as well. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, anytime you play old rivalries, and FAMU is one of those old rivalries, 3 hours away, and, got a lot of similar qualities when it comes to the bands, the teams, a lot of alums. Matter of fact, Coach Pearson, his wife is a FAMU grad. So there's a lot of overlap of FAMU guys that's in this area and in that region. But, again, it's another opportunity for us to play football because if, again, you start listening to the fans, it won't be long before you start sitting with them.
Alabama State's the closest team to us geographically. There's a huge Alabama State following here in the Panhandle of Florida. Here they're bringing a lot of buses, their band, their students. And so anticipating a great atmosphere. But this was one of the main reasons we got into the conference to be able to have these type games with a lot riding on it and two really good football teams with great fan bases. So excited about the opportunity to get back on the field, and we'll tee it up Saturday at 6 o'clock and see what happens.
All right, coming up in a minute, we're going to take a look at this past week in the SIAC. But first, I got to do a quick wardrobe change. We got to change the cameras around. So let's enjoy some music. I'll be back in a second. Hey everyone, another episode of This Week in the SIAC. We're almost like a month in, right? Like, where did summer go? I'm starting to hear basketballs bouncing around campus. There's a lot happening, but let's jump into some football highlights. This past weekend, man, we had some heavy hitters out there. And as always, highlights brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Central State has been on one brutal road trip, and stopping at Miles didn't make anything easier. The first home game at Miles in nearly 700 days, so everyone pretty hyped. Claude Newell opened up the scoring on this 15-yard touchdown in the first quarter. Pretty excited, and that would be a reoccurring theme. Running, passing, the Golden Bears up 34-0 by the second quarter. Ouchies. The Miles defense doing its part. Interceptions, blocked punts. Did I mention blocked punts? And we did say interceptions, right? You kind of get the picture there. Our play of the day. I have not seen a spin move this clean since like Madden 98, which was the last time I played video games. Dante Edwards, he just wakes up in beast mode. He's like the Marshawn Lynch of the SIAC. It was a thorough 55-4 victory by Miles. You saw it via ESPN, and Coach Ruffin hopes to see more victories in his very near future after that gauntlet run on the road to start the year.
You know, to start off the season, losing in overtime, and then leading at halftime against Southern, and coming back a good Morehouse team, and then coming back for our first home game in 693 days. You know, very excited to get the win, especially in our division against Central State. So we on to the next one.
From Alabama to Georgia on my mind. Savannah State hosting Morehouse back in Eastern Standard Time. It was Greek night, and D'Angelo Durham was stepping right through the Morehouse defense. Draw play. Picasso. Tigers score first. They scored second as well. Durham with 2 touchdowns on the day. What does a clean, open field tackle look like? It looks a lot like that. Watch Anij Carter work inside of that Morehouse secondary. Devon Gibbons lofts one up there, and 1 miss, 2 miss, 60-yard touchdown by Carter. It was a 27-0 game at the half, and you don't need Miss Cleo to predict this one was over. Savannah State rides to a 29-10 victory at home. Okay, our players of the week in the SIAC. Don't sleep on Lane. They are balling. Michael Huntley, Offensive Player of the Week. Stephon Pierre from Albany State, the Defensive Player of the Week. Tyler Moore. Now, if you're old like me, you're smiling now. Tyler Moore, but Tyler is the Special Teams Player of the Week from Fort Valley State. Let's stick with Valley. Emmanuel Wilson. He is the Newcomer of the Week. All right, let's take a look at the current SIAC football standings. Those Tigers on top in the East, Albany State, close by. Switching divisions, Miles, Lane, Kentucky State, Tuskegee. They'll all have something to say about how the West was won or will be won before it's all over. All right, let's move forward now, taking a look at matchups this weekend in the SIAC, on the gridiron, some more good ones. Where are you headed? Circle it on your screen here. Savannah State, Kentucky State. Yes, please. Allen and Central State. We have Clark visiting Tuskegee. Lane College with some out-of-conference action against Texas College. Morehouse at home against Edward Waters, looking for the first win of the year. Still looking for it. Tough divisional matchup, Fort Valley and Benedict. And this might be the granddaddy of them all this weekend. Miles at Albany State. Who you with? Okay, HBCU Game Day Saturday rolls on. Let me change real quick. And Mahogany, hold me down. Okay, hold on, just one more second. All right, I'm back. What was once old is new again. All right, let's get on to the CIAA. Now, they are in early kickoff mode. This is my favorite time of the year. I'm not a big fan of the night games. Not at all. I like to get it in. Let's get it done early, get back home. On tap today for the CIAA. We got Shaw at Virginia Union, Johnson C. Smith at Bowie State, Livingstone at Elizabeth City State, Winston-Salem State University at Chowan, St. Aug at Virginia State, and Lincoln at Fayetteville State. Now, Bowie State is rolling as usual. Now, CIAA had been off, those 600 some days like everybody else, so a lot of you maybe haven't put eyes on this year's version of the Bulldogs. We got a chance to check them out at Livingstone last weekend. Intern Josh on the camera, on the sticks. Let's check out the highlights. North Carolina A&T is rolling, and they are preparing for Robert Morris this afternoon. More on that in a second. But first, I know the Aggies are feeling good. Had some big opponents the first few weeks, but finally you got a chance to come back home. Conference affiliation be damned. It was North Carolina Central. Ended up being on the menu, and the Aggies took care of business.
Back in the doghouse for the first time in like 700 days for the next chapter of the Aggie Eagle Classic. No longer the final game of the MEAC regular season, the Aggie Eagle September Classic had East Lindsay Street thicker than Grandma's oatmeal. And everybody was ready to get this game kicked off.
It's go time.
Mr. Twitter don't win you no games, Jalen, but they pulled up to remind us about how Aggies do.
All that Twitter don't win you no games. Coach Oliver just told y'all to be quiet, man.
Plus, Aggie turned Carolina Panther Daryl Johnson was back on camp with the Jewels dancing. And I can't even let you hear all this smoke Lamar Renard had for the Eagles before they took the field, but it was some heavy animosity vibes in the 3-3-6 for this one. The Aggies' 0-2 record, combined with NCCU's upset win over Alcorn in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, had me thinking this might be the year we see the Eagles avenge that 99-0 collective mollywop that A&T's put on them the past 2 years. But the Aggies said, nah, bro, that's cap. First quarter, Kashawn Baker, 47-yard touchdown. The ref all up in the video like Diddy in 9-6, but it's still 7-0 Aggies. Second quarter, Aggies get a field goal, a pump block touchdown, and a dime from Jalen Fowler to Elijah Bowick with 1 second left in the half, and it's 27-3 going into the band break. And the OG Aggies on the sideline had nothing but smoke for the Eagles.
126 points in 3 years.
And I'm going back to Georgia. I ain't even saying I'm going back tonight.
Gotta go home.
I'm gonna go back tonight.
They waste their time by coming like playing us. Like, come on now.
The sound machine put on for the 919 with a dope Bull City breakdown. But I was reunited with the BGMM, and it felt so good. And the second half of this game went just like the past 4 years. That A&T defense was out there thumping. And while NCCU did break their touchdown drought, they were still no match for the Aggies as A&T gets the big-time 37-14 win. And even though it got a little chippy in the handshake line, the feeling in Aggie land after a combined 160-24 score in their last 4 meetings is that the Aggie Eagle Classic ain't even a rivalry no more.
Ain't even a rivalry. I don't think it's it's a stat game. Ain't even a rivalry. From now on, it's just a regular game. Okay? Don't ever try to do Aggie Eagle. It's just Aggie.
I done told you once. I done told you twice. I done told you 100 times. NCCU, man, it's the Aggie Classic, man. They suck, man.
Y'all see them damn birds around? Hey, don't come over here with that BS. I told you the same thing was gonna keep happening. Hey, and we ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop. Shouts out HBCU Gameday. Hey, is this still a robbery? We don't won the last. We pretty much own this route. Yeah, I don't, you know, but much love. Not really.
We got to move on to the current day. It's Saturday, October 2nd, that I mentioned it's my birthday. Aggies taking on Robert Morris today. Here is the mindset of North Carolina A&T, according to Sam Washington. He would know.
About the attitude coming up and win. Of course, it's a good, sweet feeling, you know, to win a ball game. We needed it very desperately. and I'm very pleased with the overall play of the team. But I think it's very important that we don't get too high. That was last week. It's all about the preparation for this week. This is the first game in the Big South, and it's very important to us.
Did your team play as dominantly as you thought they could against North Carolina Central?
No, I think we could have played much better. Honestly, we played well, but it's not consistently, and that's a big concern of mine. I think the intensity, it fluctuates too much. You know, we up there really high, and then next thing you know, we hit a low, and not nearly as focused or as good.
From what you've seen so far, Robert Morris, what's going to be the key? I know chicken is always the key. Mm-hmm. Anything in particular that stands out in terms of facing this team? You know,
offensively, we got to, our eyes must be good. You know, jumping in and out of those different fronts, that changes the calls and the audibles. And the offensive line going to have to be very good at what they do, and Jalen going to have to be very good at what he does.
Any special message, being that this is the first, any special message you will emphasize this week, being that this is the first game in the new conference?
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Don't forget the goal. You know, and to reach our goal, we got to win the first one.
The MEAC schedule for today, we have a lot of guests coming for dinner, don't we? Let's hope that they're not too hungry. Let's take a look at the itinerary. St. Francis at Morgan State, Sacred Heart at Howard, Cookman at South Carolina State. We've talked about that. It's been described as a cat and dog fight and a bloodbath, so there's a lot going on there. Norfolk State at Hampton, Battle of the Bay, Central at Valley for homecoming. We told you about that. And Delaware State at Wagner. So yes, lots of guests from the outside will be at the table today, but two familiar foes going at it. Norfolk State and Hampton is the Battle of the Bay. Now the Spartans are doing pretty good so far under new head coach. He's not new to coaching, but new at Norfolk State, Dawson Odoms. Now they've won the games they should have won, collected a check when that was called for, but this team, and particularly this offense, is something that Dawson Odoms was very impressed with even before he took the job, and it all starts with his quarterback. I love saying this name, Pooty Carter.
It starts with Carter. We know he had a great understanding of the offense that he was in. And, you know, we didn't want to blow it up. We wanted to have some consistency. And I felt like if we could keep our offense together, they had enough talent over there to be successful. And Carter is that guy. I mean, I think he is getting better, but it's the leadership that he's playing with. It's the poise. Coach Myers is doing a great job of coaching up the quarterbacks in his room. And that, to me, is where you see the growth. It's not about whether or not he's adapting to the philosophy that we have. It's about us believing in each other as a team, and we all getting better. It's just like being a stepdad to somebody that's 17, 18 years old. You don't expect them to call you dad. You just expect them to respect you as a father. And as the head football coach of this team, I'm appreciative of the fact that these seniors respect me enough as their head football coach and be able to just say, you know what, we go try a coach way and believe in it. But success helps that. If we weren't having any success, it would be harder to turn the corner. So each week we get a little bit better, and our leaders are doing an outstanding job. And Carter is one of those guys that we call captain. And so his leadership is through the roof. He's taking the steps necessary not only to be a great quarterback, but also be a great leader. And I'm proud of him for that fact.
So you have all these games today, right? And everybody out there wants to make it to the league. They're hoping to follow in the footsteps of guys like Chester Rogers, the former Grambling wide receiver, who's doing pretty good this year with the Tennessee Titans. He is the subject of our HBCU NFL report. Simone Stanley has more. Simone.
So let's start with Chester Rogers. Chester Rogers, former Grambling State University wide receiver, now Tennessee Titan, scored his first touchdown with the Titans organization on a 6-yard pass from Ryan Tannehill. So Chester Rogers has scored in the past with the Indianapolis Colts, and that's what's made it sweeter because he was playing against his former team. He spent 4 years with the Colts. Now in week 3, playing with the Titans, he posted his first 7 points on the board. And not only did he do that, he also celebrated in the end zone and used his former teammate, T.Y. Hilton's touchdown celebration. And what makes this so big for Chester Rogers is because when he came to the Titans, it was a lot of questions around how the team was going to utilize him in such a high-powered offense. The offense already featured a young all-pro receiver in A.J. Brown, and also was built on Derrick Henry, their workhorse of a running back who has had several 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Not only that, but they added future Hall of Famer Julio Jones in the offseason in a trade from the Atlanta Falcons. They added him to the wide receiver core as well. But Chester Rogers said, hey, I'm Chester Rogers for a reason. They're going to make room for me, and they already did week 3. We can't wait to see what he does in week 4 now.
Okay, that's going to do it for another HBCU Game Day Saturday. We are at week 5. October is here. I'm still trying to figure out who's good, who's got potential, and who's maybe next year status. I don't really know. Guys, I've been doing this for a while. There are teams right now that you are ready to count out that could win a championship. It has happened before. There are teams right now that you might think they're cruising and they're about to fall apart. That's the beauty of October. I think it's the best month of college football. You know, you might stay here, you might fall down, you just never know. And it's all gonna play out in front of us. And the weather is getting cooler, which is pretty cool. All right, guys. We'll see you later tonight. Maybe. It is my birthday. Did I mention that 5 times already? But we'll have scores for you at HBCUGameday.com. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. HBCU Game Day Saturday. Tali Carr from Atlanta. Enjoy your day. It's a celebration.